Bit of a scouting mission today. So the plan of action today is to basically scout out a couple of locations that we're looking to film at. It's going to be 3 locations, one of which we definitely are filming at, and 2 that I just want to check out to see whether they're worthy of a shot when we're thinking of places to shoot. They're all incredibly cool locations, especially location number 2. It's probably my favourite place in London. Anyway, time-lapse time. I've made it to the first destination, and it may look like just a Tesco's car park, but it's actually an old racetrack. So this, everyone, is the old Brooklands Racetrack. It's in the southwest of London, and it was built in 1907. It's a debate between this and Crystal Palace as to which was the sort of original British circuit, but this place states claim to be the official first purpose-built racetrack in the UK. It's essentially 2 bankings, 2 tight-cornered banked bits of the circuit connected by 2 massive straights, and it was used for time trials, races, all that kind of thing, including the famous Bentley boys. Sadly, these days, it's all kind of broken up, so the banking just has been cut right across there so that there can be a roundabout built, and then the banking goes all the way around here, and then there's traffic lights that completely slice through another bit. This is actually the small bit of the banking, and the big 30-foot tall banking is actually on the other side. That's the main Brooklands Museum. I would love to go there one day, but I wanted to check out this bit that was non-museum because it might be potentially more accessible for filming. It's a really cool location. I've got an affinity when it comes to just old bits of concrete, be it old airfields or purpose-built tracks like this. It's a shame to see it in the state that it's in. It's not too bad. I've seen much worse. I've seen airfields chewed up much worse than this. But yeah, I guess the museum preserves the steeper banking, which you can go and visit, and which we could film at, but I thought I'd see what it's like down the other end, which is a bit kind of less well known, I guess. Let's go check out the other bit of section track that those traffic lights are diving through to see what we're playing with. It does say this is private land. I wonder if it is also still owned by the museum, but they just don't really work with this bit. Bit more investigation needed, I guess. So I've walked right along the shorter bottom banking of the track, and then it's just been carved in 2 by this junction here. And then it continues right round, and I imagine if you follow this path round you get all the way around to the museum up the top corner. It's a fairly meaty track. It'll take you a while to get there, but it looks like the 2 divisions are this bit here and then the roundabout up top. Otherwise, it looks like the track could be fairly intact. I kind of like the sort of derelict, weed-covered, moss-covered, cracked tarmac. Yeah, versus the stuff that's maybe preserved by the museum. Let's take a look around and see what the back of the track looks like. There's initially this concrete section, but then it does just give way to a grassy bank with loads of trees on it. I definitely think there's something we can do here. I'll definitely contact the museum and see what this side of the track is up to, who owns it. And actually, this section of track over here has a sign on it, like before, that says it's private land, but the gate is very much open, so I don't know whether through lockdown they've opened it up so that people can walk around the track recreationally, which would be cool. Either that or someone's just bust the gate open. I like to do this, I guess you could call it a recce, that's what they call it in the professional league, because it's better than just looking at pictures or YouTube videos. They can give you a sort of initial outlook as to what a location is like, but actually setting foot on it and sussing out for yourself makes such a difference for when you're contacting someone about a location or when you're sussing out the film that you want to produce here. London as a city has been massively developed, so it's nice that there's some old bits that are kind of left derelict so that you can put a car here or tell a story here and have it be authentic instead of having to imagine what used to be here. It's a shame that the track isn't a hole, so you couldn't do a full lap, but there's definitely enough here to do something with. So this is the car I'm exploring London in today. This is actually Tim Rodey's long-termer. I've swapped with him. I've got his Mini Clubman John Cooper Works. Pretty cool little thing, essentially an estate hot hatch. Pretty unique really in the market. What's cool about this is it has the 310 horsepower engine from the BMW M135i and also weirdly the Morgan Plus 4 that I had on the channel not too long ago. Same motor. This one is all-wheel drive, so it's a bit of a weapon, and I don't know what it is recently, but this, and if you watch on Tim's channel, Tim Rodey Drive Stuff, he's also been driving the Golf R, and it seems that these all-wheel drive hot hatches, they used to be very, very front biased, but this one, if you got in sport mode, it will do you a little shimmy from the rear, which is pretty cool to be honest. Front-wheel drive / all-wheel drive hot hatches aren't as boring as they once were. It's enough power to get this car to 62 miles an hour in under 5 seconds, which is pretty insane. And then of course, there's the doors. How cool is that? Full of filming kit. Very, very unique, very funky. And yeah, it sets itself apart from pretty much every other car in the market. Would I have this or a 135i? Probably this, to be honest. Right, that's Brooklands done. Now on to the next location, which is a bit further east. It's all very modern mini inside. To be honest, this binnacle here hasn't really changed much in the last sort of 15 years really. I remember getting into my friend's Mini Cooper S, I think, at school, and it had pretty much all of this. They've changed the dials a bit, but everything else is pretty much as it was. Really annoying thing, there's two really annoying things. One, my new phone doesn't fit into the charging tray. My Samsung S21 Plus doesn't fit in there. This thing gets snagged. And then the second thing is this little toggle here. So this is the volume, and as you can see, it's slightly off center, and you think, oh, okay, I'll just twist that round. But then it's slightly off center the other way. It doesn't point directly up, and my OCD would go nuts about that. I would have that straight into the dealership and having that completely straight. So that is straight. That's where it should be. Boop. And it goes a couple of degrees to the right. Mini, sort it out. After a ridiculous amount of traffic during what's essentially still a lockdown, we've made it to our second destination. This bloody sun's going down, so we're going to have to really work to get to our third one, but we're here. Apologies for the wind, but this behind me is the National Stadium at Crystal Palace, the National Athletic Stadium. Now, the plan is to put a very, very famous car around that. Normally humans run around that, but we'd like to see how a car would cope on it. I can't tell you too much, I don't want to spoil the story, but it should be pretty cool. Crystal Palace itself is actually a really famous stadium. They used to hold really top-end athletics competitions here. But these days it's a bit worse for wear, which kind of means it's a good opportunity to go and film in places like this. Now, I would say it's illegal to come to Crystal Palace Park and not visit what essentially makes this park famous from the sort of Victorian era, really. Just down here, a 5 to 10-year-old Michael would be freaking out right now. These guys are the Crystal Palace Dinosaurs. I don't know whether any of you guys watched Walking with Dinosaurs on BBC when you were kids, but the behind the scenes came here, and I was always fascinated and always wanted to come here. Look at these things. So these guys are full-scale models of what Victorians thought dinosaurs looked like by checking out their skeletons. And what's really interesting, if you know your dinosaurs, this one is supposed to be an iguanodon. And if you see it's got a horn basically where its nose is, they actually misinterpreted that one because the horn was supposed to be its thumb. Iguanodon had a really big spiky thumb. So freaking cool. I would happily come here for my lockdown walks every single day. Sadly, I live quite a bit on the other side of London compared to this. Don't know what's going on with this one. It looks like it's getting some repair work on its muzzle there. You've got some other guys down here, plesiosaurs and big crocodiles and stuff. It's just so cool. I was a big dinosaur fan as a kid. And yeah, it brings back all those memories of Jurassic Park and walking with dinosaurs, looking at all of this. And it shows how far science has come. You know, that they did a pretty good job, to be honest, of putting those skeletons together and coming up with these. I just find them fascinating. I don't know, maybe car nerds and dinosaur nerds don't quite converge as a fan base, but I absolutely love them. I don't know how to integrate the dinosaurs into the athletics track car film that we're going to make, but I'll find a way. Back down on the main straight. So cool being here. I've thought about going in, but it looks like they're doing something in there and they've just shouted at someone else, so probably not today. Anyone that wants to come film here, this is the magic gate. If you can get the gameskeepers to open this gate up, that means you can do a whole lap of the old track. So this bit here used to be the old pitch straight. The paddocks used to be where that car park is, and it used to come right along here. That being where the actual old Crystal Palace was, above those stairs on the Esplanade. Now the reason I ventured down this way is because I can't resist a little bit of concrete again. This section of concrete right here is the final remnants of the old racing asphalt from the original track. So you can see it's obviously not in the best condition, it's all cracked, but you can see the new tarmac there and then the old racetrack stuff here. You can feel it. You rub that, you can feel the grip in that. And it's that same surface that they have on all the old racetracks, especially the airfield ones. And it would have continued right on into the park. Such a cool track. I absolutely love this place. And yeah, again, I cannot resist coming and looking at some old original racetrack. So freaking cool. Okay, sun is properly going down now. I need to race this Mini just up the road to the third destination. I couldn't resist getting some quick Instagram shots of the Mini down by all this graffiti. Pretty cool down here. And also very cool driving the car, like I did with the I-Pace in the DriveTribe video, down the main straight of the old track. Love that kind of stuff. Annoyingly, what's good is the speed bumps down here have been kind of worn away, so it is pretty much a straight line down here without any restriction, but there are some people going on their daily COVID walk through Crystal Palace, so I would have given it the beans down the Crystal Palace. I've forgotten what it's called. Is it just called Back Straight? Put up a picture of where exactly on the track it is, but no, I don't know. They literally had a pram. You don't want to be that guy in a hot hatch rinsing it past people with prams. Nope, stay chill. On to the final location. Finally, I feel like I've said that 3 times. So the reason I came to the athletics track today was just to suss out the size of it. It looked massive in the pictures, and when I saw National Stadium, I thought, cool, this is going to be really awesome. But it is as big as I thought it was going to be. You know, that is a proper stadium. So we've been given permission to use it. We just need to get the car for it. It's going to be a very cool car. And yeah, make it happen. Make that production happen. As I said before, a sort of reconnaissance trip to a place like this is always great, just so you get the full scale and the full visuals of what you're looking for. As I said, pictures and YouTube videos only go so far. So it's great to just come here in person and suss the place out. And hopefully you'll see these locations feature in DriveTribe videos in the not too distant future. It's a bit wintry now, so the coat's on, but we've made it. Brockwell Park is definitely a lesser known park, but it has this in it. If you guys know me well, you'll know that I'm massively into railways, but particularly narrow gauge railways, and Brockwell Park has its own one. Now the reason I'm here is because sort of miniature stuff, miniature railways, miniature cars, model cars, remote control cars seem to go down really well with our audience. They seem to be equally nerdy about that sort of thing. So I've been thinking about some sort of Top Gear challenge, but on a miniature scale. So I'm imagining something like a pretty sick off-road RC car against a train, and then potentially something else, maybe something airborne. So a three-way race. But I just thought the budget to do it properly with full-size cars has to be pretty huge, but could we convince the Model Engineering Society here at Brockwell to use this tiny little track that no one really knows about in the centre of London and use it to make a sick video. I just think it'd be a really quaint, really unique little bit of content. It all looks in pretty good nick, to be honest, and I imagine there's some more stuff in that container there. But look, it's got its little bump stop here. It just seems to be quite a well looked after little track. So I think I'm going to get in touch with the Brockwell Railway Engineering Club and see if they're up for doing something. Maybe one of them is watching this video and can do something with us. I think one thing we need to be careful about with having the track here is, say with an RC car here and then something airborne above here. One, there's trees for the airborne part of it, and two, this is like a massive public park it's part of. It goes all the way over those trees, and as you can see, it's March in lockdown and everyone's out for their walk. So it might be quite difficult to sort of keep the public away, because the second we've got cameras, trains, some sort of vehicle on the side, and then maybe a drone, is going to attract attention. There's also dogs, bicycles, children. Yeah, we need to suss it out. But tell me in the comments which car you think we should use, which RC car would be perfect for this sort of race against a train. Now, it can't be something too quick, because trains aren't rapid, especially narrow gauge ones. But someone out there, tell me what RC car would be perfect for a race down here. Okay, that's the recce day finished. So started off with Brooklands, then went to Crystal Palace, and then finished here at Brockwell Park. Hopefully 3 really cool locations that will actually make it onto film. I guess between now and summer, maybe a bit into summer, depending on how things go. So I would like you guys in the comments to comment 3 things. Number 1, which one of those locations do you think will be the coolest? Number 2, which car you think we're going to be racing around the Crystal Palace track? I bet none of you guess. And number 3, which vehicle should we race against the narrow gauge railway? It's a tough one. it can't be the most insane RC car because it will just blow the train out of the water. So I'm going to leave it down to you guys. Tell me in the comments. I've been Mike, and I'll see you again next time.